Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members of the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So we are going to take a look on the new helicopters in the new patch, guys. There are some interesting things over here. The first one is the Super Cobra is here, the AH-1W, the Whiskey Super Cobra normally called. And it is a very interesting vehicle actually. It's kind of like a mix between the Viper and the actual original Cobras. It's pretty like in between. Even the cockpit, it's a lot more like the H1G than the F, which is kind of funny. It's a lot more rounded, just like the older Cobras. And by the way, of course, there is no skin as of yet. I'm going to test at the end of the video just to make sure if it crashes. I already did the whole recording. The main difference between the Viper and this thing is, of course, the main rotor, as you see over here, and some other minor things. So you will see that it has a quad kind of situation over here, while this one has only two of them, and older systems, of course, in a general sense. The payloads are very interesting. You can use the Hellfire, although it's a very old version of the Hellfire. It's still a Hellfire. Mighty Mouses, of course, A9Ls, in a very weird manner, like in a pylon like this, like an aircraft. So it's pretty interesting. Of course, it has the 20mm gun as well. So let's move on. Of course, we have the Wessex, which is very I mean, a lot of people don't like this thing. I love these weird, quirky variants of aircraft that we already had. I mean, this is an H-34 Sikorsky helicopter, but it has two GNOME engines. It's a very weak engine, but still it is pretty interesting that it has two of them to actually be able to fly. So let's fly a little bit just to show the payloads over here. Very interesting helicopter and very good to the BR that it has. It's a 9.0 BR helicopter, so it should be actually pretty good. Of course, it all comes down to the AA systems that you will be facing, what the targets have, but apparently it doesn't have sound. But yeah, as you see, it's pretty alright. It flies pretty good. It's a sluggish helicopter. It has two 30 cals. The cockpit is not ready yet. What is that? That's a funny thing. But yeah, and then you have the missiles, which are very good in range, man. They have 7 kilometers of a range, so it is pretty interesting. You cannot like lock a target, of course, because it is, you know, one of those old helicopters that don't have that ability. And the maneuverability of the missile, it isn't the greatest thing ever, as you saw. But it is pretty alright. It's not a bad helicopter. You just need a little bit of time and space between you and the target to actually be able to do something about it. So a very cool helicopter, pretty nimble for the size of it, and a little bit more strong than the H-34. So very cool. The missiles are not the greatest thing ever, but still. So let's get to the next one. China actually is receiving a Super Cobra as well, as you see over here in this line. The Super Cobra is also here. It has the same payload, same performance, same everything. It's just not really ready yet, but still it's pretty much the same with different skin. And the last helicopter is the AH-60, the new Blackhawk that has the spike missiles. Finally, the spike missile was added to the Israelis, which is kind of funny that it took this much time. But yeah, the Spike ER is here, 1000mm IR guided, so fire and forget. Of course, you have some other you know, systems like the JTR, which is also laser guided. Of course, you have the Hellfire with the K model. You have the that's it actually. But you'd have AA missiles, yeah, here. The ATAS missiles, and then some Hydras as well. So yeah, with the spikes, it can be a very deadly helicopter. So let's fly around with it a little bit, because this thing, man, can actually destroy whole teams if you're not careful. And I mean, there's always the factor that, I mean, these helicopters, they tend to be like like these missiles actually, the spikes, they tend to not be like one shot, one kill sometimes, but it's still pretty alright. So yeah, as you see, the Blackhawk is here. A very, very good zone, which is crazy to think about, because then you can just do this. And then basically kill every single tank in existence. Look at that. It's a rain of fire, man, with spikes. It's a scary thought that this thing has so many missiles it's destroyed. I don't know how many missiles, and I still have 7 missiles. But again, sometimes you need to shoot 2 or 3 of them to actually kill one target. And they're pretty maneuverable, as you see. Of course, you have the flares in chaff. There you go. They're dead. And for maneuvering targets as well. And now we even have this little system over here of you can just point kind of where you want to fire. And it will try to lock it up as well. I have to do a video on the mechanics. So a very, very cool Blackhawk. I think the Spike is a better missile than the Hellfire, so it's better than the US one. I think, in my opinion, it's a very, very good one. And by the way, it has maws, of course, but it has a cannon as well, which is pretty cool. I don't remember if the American one has one. I have to check, but still, it's a very, very capable attack helicopter. And being a Blackhawk, it's quite the fast helicopter. It can take a punch. It's not like a very weak helicopter. Of course, there are Heinz and stuff that can take a little bit more of a punch, but still. Let me just check if this thing has... It doesn't have a gun, does it? Or, I mean, it has the gun pods, but I don't think it has like an internal gun. And it has only the AGMs, right? The Hellfires. So, although it's a very good missile, I think the Spikes are a little bit better. They're just because they are fire and forget. And the last couple of things, the Apache received a new cockpit, which is pretty cool. So let's just show to you guys this. It's loading. So yeah, very, very cool with the helmet mounted display over there. Hopefully they add this type of thing for aircraft as well in the soonish future. Because helmet mounted sights are already in the game with many aircraft, but helmet mounted displays I don't think are with any fixed wing aircraft. So yeah. So the cockpit of the Apache is here. So let's wrap the video up, but I'm gonna do this, but I'm afraid that the game will crash. Let's see. Please don't crash. Oh, it didn't. So we can test it out, the helicopter. So yeah. No, but it's not ready yet. It's really not ready yet, I don't think. It's weird. The way that it's flying, it's kind of weird. Of course, you have the 20mm. Of course, you have the Hellfires, which are always an amazing missile. So let's try to be fast with this thing. Oh. No, I managed to miss the last two, but still. You have the rockets. And then, of course, you have an AIM-9, which is also a nice addition. So very, very cool helicopter. As I said, I mean, it was kind of needed, right? I mean, the big jump from the F to the Z was kind of too much. So yeah, guys, these are the new helicopters. Hopefully they are ready when the game comes. Very weird FPS is happening. But yeah, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe and